Okay. Good morning and welcome to the June 10th Let's Talk meeting. How are you?
Afternoon.
Afternoon, morning, evening. Guess it depends on where you're listening to this from.
Yep.
So we're another week into COVID-19 season. Megan mentioned that next week we'll be at 100 days of having incident command in place. I think when we started talking about this towards the end of February as department head team, we thought maybe this was gonna be something we're dealing with 2 or 3 weeks. I think we misjudged it by a little bit, but 100 days of incident command, we're probably now very close to 90 days of the lockdown of the campus, 3 full months of really changing life at Westminster Village for both the staff and the residents. Every week we kind of think, all right, we see a light at the end of this tunnel, and then every other week we see things change in our state. We're seeing numbers go back up, actually higher than they were prior to the state lockdown. Starting to see hospitals filling up again in their ICUs. The number of tests being done as a state are definitely more than we've ever had, but the number of positives are even at a higher percentage than we were seeing 2 months ago. So, kind of what does that mean for us? I think the question I get asked the most is, well, when is this going to be over? And when does Westminster Village open back up like it was in early February? And unfortunately, I still don't have a great answer for that. We continue to work hard to make sure we can be as close to normal as possible. I think over the last 30 plus days, we've seen us moving in the right direction while keeping the place safe with the opening of Ocotillo, the opening of the salon, getting back to having a Donnelly's meal every week and the theme meals that we've been doing, opening the swimming pool, more activities and more fun around the campus. But the reality is we still have a ways to go before we get back to normal. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody knows when that date is. I haven't got a memo yet saying it's July 4th or it's August 15th or it's tomorrow. So we just continue to look at the numbers and what's happening around us. Over the last 2 to 3 weeks now, we've had some scary news with a resident and a staff member, both who were not on campus during their time, coming down with COVID-19. So no risk to the campus, but obviously that news of people related to Westminster Village, people who live here and work here, having the disease. We also, in the last week or two of the facilities very close to us, top-notch facilities, both now have infections in their facilities. So those, continues to be more bad news than good news. We continue to work hard. I know the residents continue to work hard to have mostly good news here on campus. And again, we're happy to still have great news on campus of Westminster Village is safe. Our campus is COVID-19 free, and I hear nothing but great things, almost nothing but great things from the residents about what our staff is doing and the services we're able to provide under these circumstances. And again, we're going to continue to work as hard as we can to make this a great place to live, and also working as hard as we can to make this a great place to work for our employees so that they continue to come to work. We have day after day people happy to show up and happy to be a part of our team. They're proud of what they do. And at this point, we can't ask for any more than to be able to continue that, hopefully not for another 100 days, but whatever it takes to get to the end of this crisis, at Westminster Village, in the state, and the country.
And some of you watching today might not have watched the residents meeting yesterday, but in the meeting, Mimi talked about the lunch program that the residents have been funding for the employees to have a hot meal, most of the time pizza, once a week. And this keeps dragging on and we don't know when it's going to end, but we would like to continue to encourage the employees by providing that. So if you would like to contribute, maybe you've already done so once, maybe you'd like to or be open to doing it again. You can make out checks to the WMV Residents Association and put them in the internal mailbox to Mimi Severs, 1037.
And I speak for all employees on this. We really appreciate those meals. Food service does an incredible job, but to get something from the outside, something a little different, is a fantastic break in our week. We probably need to get back to doing more walking, because I know me and a couple other staff members need to order some clothes online, because with all the stress and with the eating and the good food, some of our clothes have shrunk in the wash.
The same thing is happening in the resident population, believe me.
We do have some good news. It was, I think about 2 weeks ago, we announced that the state came in, and as they do every year with Wyrick Healthcare Center, they came in and did an infection control survey. We knew when they left we had done a really good job, but Todd got the results today or yesterday, and we have 0 deficiencies. Those don't come easy. The team over there did an incredible job, as they always do, and we're really proud of the fact that 0 deficiencies on that state infection control survey. And we're always proud of that, but during these times when it's extremely hard, when they're looking, with a fine eye to see if there's anything wrong, just to get that 0 deficiencies is incredible. So they did a great job. Many of you probably see Madge running around today. Madge is lucky enough today to have her survey for home health. The surveyors are now gone, and they've told Madge they did a great job, so we're hoping in the next 2 weeks we'll hear some great news from the surveyors as well and be able to congratulate Madge. But I know her team, and they have more customers right now than they ever have on their list, and they're doing a fantastic job. So if you see them, let them know. And then food service had their county survey today and had the kitchens inspected, and they had 3A ratings with their kitchen inspection today. So again, just all the way around, great job from all of the team. And those surveyors right now are out looking for every and anything they can. So to have those kind of surveys is just incredible. So our team is working hard for us.
So we're gonna keep the doors open, so to speak.
We're gonna keep the doors open, but there'll be somebody there checking you as you come in or go out.
Yeah.
Want to talk about next week's Let's Talk?
Oh, next week's Let's Talk, we would like to have a small audience. And we're going to ask the committee chairman from the Residents Council to gather questions from the committee members or from residents and bring those questions to next week's meeting. And we'll see how that goes. But in order to make it work, we have to have questions. So you need to figure out what it is you want to know. And you can't ask, when are we going to be able to go off campus and not have a penalty coming back? We get that question every week, and it doesn't change. And nobody knows is the answer. But it's sure nice sitting here and living here and not having to worry about it. That you're keeping track of that stuff. And we just have to be patient and wait, or be willing to go into quarantine for 14 days when it happens. Anyway, back to questions. So submit your questions to the committee chairman. Oh, I don't want to name them off because I don't remember them all every time. I got a lot going on too, you know.
I'm glad you said that and didn't put me under the pressure of having to name them off. So
Okay, well,
that'll be fun. I love the Let's Talks, and again, I'm enjoying having you here being a part of them, because I think, again, that shows we're all in this together. But I love having the live audience, and again, having the questions come up and not knowing what the questions are gonna be. I think that's an important part of the interactions we have here at Westminster Village, so I'm happy that we're gonna be able to get back to at least a small normalcy in that. And again, our goal is to continue to get back to as much normalcy as possible. And again, we continue to try to do that in a safe and slow manner. One of the things I think we announced in might have been yesterday's or today's daily updates, we talked about starting with some of the construction and the remodels of the apartments. And we're gonna work very slow and very precisely to make that happen. That's important. There are family members who have families and residents who have moved up to different levels of care, maybe assisted living or skilled nursing, and their apartments are sitting full of stuff, and families haven't been able to pick that up. And we're gonna be able to start doing that. We just need to do it very slowly and very safely. We have a number of people who are waiting to move into Westminster Village, and we just need to finish those apartments. So we will probably by July, start seeing a few more move-ins. Those people who are moving in will be tested, and they'll be subject to the same isolation or quarantine as residents who leave campus, so that we can keep it safe and make that safe. If you see one of the construction people coming, through the hall as they're doing that, don't go up and talk to them. I know that's what we want to do. It's our natural instinct. Some of them we haven't seen in 3 months, but I ask you, stay in your doorway if they're walking through. Do your best to avoid. They're going to do their best to avoid that contact to keep Westminster Village safe. I encourage you to do that as well. We have a little bit longer before we can have those interactions with that group. And we're starting slow because we know the natural instinct of our vendor partners and our residents are to have those interactions, to have that conversation. And again, we want to avoid that because it's one more way we keep Westminster Village safe. But that's a thing that's starting, and again, I think that's a good thing. We need that to stay healthy, and we do need to get back to some sense of normalcy. Testing is one of those ways we plan to get there. As of noon or so today, we've now had 260 employees and residents and vendors tested for COVID-19. So you'll see that in the results that come out tomorrow. 260 people, and we're continuing. We now have a pretty good source, so we'll probably see, I think last week was 80 people that were tested. This week will be close to the same. Next week will probably be more. And we hope we're getting to a point where we can use the testing to get people off of that isolation a little bit sooner and safer. We're definitely using it with the vendors and new hires and the staffing, so there is good news out there. There are things that are looking better. I know we talked about the field trips last week, and I saw the policy and procedure for that. I saw the flyer, and I'm excited about that. I did ask Megan, and she committed like 5 minutes before this meeting that if the field trips go well for a few weeks, we'll then add in maybe stopping at a drive-through and getting in and out or something like that as part of the field trip. And we'll continue to build on that as long as they go well and residents are enjoying it.
Yes, I saw that there were 3 different field trips being offered now. And my guess is that, if you get 2 or 3 of your friends together and submit one request all at the same time, that you would probably get to all go together at that time. But if you don't have a group to get together with, you can submit for yourself individually, and they'll put you in a van with strangers. And by the time it's done, you'll be friends.
From a distance, you'll be friends with your mask on. Well, that's good, because some of us don't have a lot of friends here, and it's nice that we could be fixed up with somebody else. So if I put my name in, just make sure Todd's not on in my group. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be a little scary.
Yeah.
Roll down the windows and hang those mohawk haircuts out there. Yeah. Well, I want to follow up on something. Last week we had a question about housekeeping. And I wanted to tell my personal experience with housekeeping, and that is my housekeeper comes every other Tuesday morning at 8:30 in the morning. I have to set that alarm back a little bit. And she says, you want the usual, which means clean the bathroom and the floors? And I said, yes. And she said, I have extra time this week. What else can I do? And I mentioned that to another resident, and they said that they had the same experience, that the housekeepers, that they added some staff or were shirking their other duties. I don't know, but they had more time to spend in the apartment. So I'm glad to be able to share that.
Yeah, and there's a couple things happening there. So during the beginning of COVID, we pretty much put a freeze on hiring unless it was a critical position we needed to hire at the point. And again, that was when we thought maybe we're doing this for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But what we decided about 3 weeks ago is it's gonna last a little bit longer, and we need to start filling some of those positions in order to get back to the level of service we were once at. And we needed to take some of the employees who had been traded to another department maybe to help check the doors. And we're starting to give some of that staff back. So we're seeing a little bit more landscaping happening because one of the landscapers is now back on the landscaping team, where they some days had one employee on campus in order to keep our footprint small. Some of the housekeepers have now come back to work after taking some time off through, to stay with their kids because of the schools closing. We also have now started hiring some of those positions, knowing we got to get back to that. So we will start to see that level of service on the housekeeping on the campus with landscaping. I think we're getting the palm trees trimmed next Thursday. Starting to get back to, again, some sense of normal where we can do it and do it safely. So that you'll start seeing those improvements in those areas, and you'll start seeing that the staffing levels pick up. There are things that we will continue to have to do. We have the prospectus gun that we spray all of the handles and do all that. We have one employee dedicated to doing that pretty much 8 hours a day because we do all levels of care and all of the doorknobs twice a day. And that's not going to go away. So housekeeping won't be back up a full 100% in the next 30 days, but they'll be getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah, the residents appreciate that, Some of them, it's hard to do their own housework at all, and some of us can wash the dishes if we have to. So we're glad to see that and really appreciate it.
Do you have any other questions?
Well, I have some information.
All right. What do you have?
Well, I think a lot of you know that my previous employment to this was in accounting. Actually, that's the only thing I've ever done. So everything that I see or observe, or when I walk into the residents meeting on the second Tuesday of every month, the first thing I do is count how many rows of chairs and multiply that in my head and figure out, okay, if all the chairs are full, we're going to have 104 people here today. Well, that's the way I think. So I've been walking around outdoors on the campus, and I've observed a few things. The deep end of the pool is 5 feet. I have to know that, or I can't sleep at night. There are 3 electric car filling stations out there. There's a few residents who have electric cars, and I'm sure they know where the filling stations are, and I do too. It's just, our world changes, it's amazing. There's 204 covered parking spaces. And the numbers don't run from 200 to 404. They skip numbers everywhere, so I had to keep adding it in my head. Well, when I was out there on my scooter, I tested both of the speed signs out there, and the fastest that I can go outdoors is 4 miles per hour. Now, Megan has tested the golf carts, and she tells me that 11 is her top speed, so I'm not going to get any races with her. There's one artificial tree out there. It used to be a raccoon house, but we converted it into a tree. And then I tried to count the fish in all of the ponds, but they wouldn't stop swimming long enough for me to get an accurate count. So we'll have to wait on that one. Next week, I'll be counting indoors. What else?
So I heard last week when we had the parade that somebody was able to get up to 75 miles an hour around the cul-de-sac. Is that true?
I didn't know you were in the parade.
I was in the parade. I snuck in the very last minute.
75.
I wasn't able to get to 75.
Are you sure that wasn't like kilometers
No.
per hour instead of miles per hour?
Maybe it was 7.5 miles per hour.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of honking, so maybe it was lower than the 10 mile.
I'm looking forward to a cooler weather car parade. And I'm sure that from what people saw the first time, that there will be a whole lot more people participating in the next one than the first one. And maybe we'll have to have some authorization before you can join the parade. I'll give him a golf cart. That'd solve it. We don't have to look at that Corvette.
Yeah, I didn't have the Corvette that day though.
What were you driving that day?
Ford Explorer.
Okay.
Next time I'll bring the Corvette.
All it counts is it has brakes.
The Corvette has brakes, so we're good there.
What else?
I don't have anything else on my list because Wednesday came before I knew it and I didn't get a chance to make a list.
I don't have any. I don't have any more either because I was at the residents meeting and that took my time. At the residents council meeting, and that took my time.
Well, thank you for joining me today and thank you all for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you.